Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you. Now enjoy the show.
All right, what's up, everybody? Hey, aunties and nuns. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of RAERAEs Review, where I will be discussing Real Housewives of New York City, Season 15, Episode 14, or shall I say, Reboot Season 2, Episode 14. Now, we just got word that the reunion is coming up soon. I haven't seen a seating chart, have you? Maybe I'll put it in my finale, but anywho, next week is a finale, child. They got 15 regular. They should just have one reunion. I mean, one part, because what they bet only have one part, because actually it wasn't a whole lot going on. I don't want to keep talking about how boring the girls are, but they did have a little something towards the last, like this episode and next episode. Apparently, we'll get into a little later, but the girls got a little riled up, child. But yeah, they should only have one part. If they got two, that's just a waste of resources, if you ask me. But let's get right into this. Now, Ubah left off with them being introduced to the beach, Raquel's favorite beach in Puerto Rico. We left off and we continuing with Ubah talking about she's not comfortable. It's a dirty beach. She saw a dead bird on the beach. Dead bird in the water going. I'm like, first of all, I'm with Ubah. I don't care what nobody say. First of all, I don't get in the beach water unless it's Turks and Caicos, Hawaii, Jamaica, Bahamas, Jamaica. Now, all those places I've been where the water was clear and it didn't look dirty. But if I can't, listen, I'm a Southern California native. Let me tell you this right here, right now. I have not been in the Pacific Ocean. I don't know how long, because it ain't clean. Should no water be that dark and murky looking? It just tells me it ain't clean. I don't care what nobody say. And it looked just like the water in Puerto Rico, dark and murky. I'm not with I'm with Ubah. Team Ubah on this one. And then you see a dead bird getting ate on by other animals and ants and carrying on, floating, all that dead stuff floating in the water. Girl, bye. Now I probably wouldn't just be yelling it out like Ubah was, but look at me itching, carrying on, scratching my arm. I wish I would get in that water. Then she tried to hop over the water, but she didn't make it. Girl, them long legs. Girl, what's going on? She could have just stretched the leg out. But yeah, she ended up getting her legs and stuff wet in the water. Child. Raquel was offended, of course, because it's her home, from where she from. But girl, and then she tried to say, well, they've been through a lot. Okay, well, that don't excuse all of what is going on right here, right now. Now, I ain't from there. I've never been there. Don't intend on going. To be honest, I don't have no attraction to Puerto Rico. But I'm not gonna get in some water where there's a dead bird leaking into it. It is what if you're so concerned about your hometown beach, go throw the dead bird away. So, but if that's the norm, I'm definitely not getting in that water. I'm not coming back to that beach either. So then what was strange and kind of, okay, since Raquel was like, I'm offended by Ubah, and how she acted. And this ain't no tit for tat, but I'm a little offended. I wasn't even there, child. She wasn't even talking about me. I'm offended by Raquel saying, well, I'm sorry I didn't take you to the Gringo Beach. What the hell that's supposed to mean? What that mean, Raquel? Anybody know Raquel? What that mean, Raquel? What, the cleaner beach or the white people beach? Because from my understanding, gringo means white person in Spanish dialect. If I'm wrong, correct me, y'all. But what are you insinuating? What are you trying to say? How about you take me to a beach that's not known for stuff like this? That's all I'm saying. Don't ever think I'm gonna go get my I don't want to eat nothing. I don't. But to be honest, I have yet to be to a beach where there are dead animals leaking into the water or just laying around. So, and I've been to plenty of beach. Not even, I haven't seen anything wash up out of the ocean into the water. That's just me. I guess I'm lucky, whatever. But I didn't appreciate Raquel, with taking that approach. But at the same time, if that's the norm for her and she's offended by it, but girl, you need a new norm. I'm just saying, because I don't know about all that. I'm just saying I'm not with all that. I'm with Ubah. I don't want to be. Listen, it is what it is. Anywho, what else going on? So then Raquel, Bryn, and Erin start talking greasy about Ubah, while they wade in the dirty water. So they wait to get in the water and wade in it and carrying on to talk about Ubah and how rude she's being, and that's just how she is. And yeah, I'm like, first of all, have some cojones and say that in her face, but they don't want to because they don't want the smoke. As they say, she gets to, as Bryn called it, she's just angry. But ain't that what Bryn said? She didn't want to perpetuate on this show, but she keeps saying it. Yeah, I call Bryn for what she is. And it's easy for Erin and Raquel to say, Raquel's offended. It's easy for Erin to keep that narrative going. And, because of how she grew up and what she's not used to. See, it's easy to see. It's funny how they want people to adapt to them and their customs, but they can't adapt to Ubah's. And I'm going to say this right here and right now. It's not a race card at all that I'm saying or trying to explain. All I'm saying is they have to accept how people are. And because they feel as though she's an angry Black woman, they don't want to accept how she is. Everybody's different. Everybody runs different. Just like how Erin thinks it's okay to show her man's DICK to people. That is just too, But should we say that's how white girls act? No. That's how Erin acts. And the brand thing, she going around, now this is what she said, she was SA when she was younger, but she goes around flirting with everything from A to Z, always humping on people and carrying on. So should we say that, she's a promiscuous WHORE? She got mad when Ubah suggested that that's how she got on the show. Well, maybe if she wouldn't act like that every chance she got, case in point, there's a cute guy, lifeguard on the beach. She notices and then goes over to him, maybe 5 feet away, falls out on the ground and pretends that she's drowning so he can save her and do mouth to mouth in her bikini, legs spread open and carrying on. What's really going on? But somebody calls her how she's acting, then you're judging her. You're not, how am I supposed to describe you if this is mainly what you do? Every episode, it's something sexual coming from her to either male, female, they, whatever the case may be. Always trying to be in the lesbian pond when you ain't even lesbian, girl. But yeah, they was out there talking greasy and carrying on. But then Sai was, they came back to the beach part, and Sai is pretty much saying she got to do something about this glass in her foot. Now, why does Sai have a 36 count box of condoms in her bag? They failed to say why Sai brought the condoms with her when she married. But what's the deal? Did she bring them for her foot? Because she act like, ooh, I can put the condom on my foot, as if an epiphany came. What's going on with Sai and these condoms? Somebody help me out. Then the rain came really hard, and that just ruined it for Ubah, her, and somebody. Was it Jenna? Who she put Jenna on her back because Jenna had the big hat. Somebody had a big old hat. Or was it Rebecca? I don't know. I can't recall. So somebody got on Ubah's back who had the big hat that can protect her from the rain, or at least protect her hair from the rain. It was freshly braided and cute. So, then they left and got back to the house, and everything. And at the house, Erin tells Jessel to talk to Sai because of what Sai mentioned about Pavi's comments before. Now, what's interesting is Raquel debates talking to Ubah because she doesn't want to get into it with Ubah, because she knows she's going to get into it with Ubah because of how Ubah is. Again, you have to accept how people are. Ubah doesn't have a malicious bone in her body. She's assertive, and they take that for angry. Now, if she's yelling and cussing, yeah, it could be a mixture or two, but she's giving her point. Just like how some cultures, they respond in a certain way. Well, this is how she's responding. And she's been doing this for the last 5 seasons. Well, how many? Yes, for the last couple of 2-3 seasons. So it's, again, if she was so malicious with her intent, then they would be saying a whole lot of other things about this woman. But I do believe that they're trying to, they are misunderstanding and labeling her because they refuse to accept how she is. She doesn't like mess. And pretty much from what I see, especially with her and Bryn, she cool with you until she notices that you're, throwing shade and trying to talk ish and carrying on. So she returns serve. But folks get their britches up in a bunch because of how she's coming at them. Well, you can't do wrong to a motherfucker and then expect a motherfucker to react a certain way. Just saying. I mean, dang. Is everybody supposed to just talk like this and wink and squeeze their boob when they're talking like Bryn? When Bryn is throwing shade and talking greasy about people and lying on people, like threefold, these housewives knows that Bryn be lying about a lot of stuff. But they don't keep that going. Oh, Bryn, you lying. Nobody worried about you. But because Bryn squeezes her nipple and it kind of talks like this, and it just makes that okay. Child, anyway, what else happened? So they all played a joke on Jenna. They first of all, they want Jenna to teach them synchronized swimming. That's what Jenna's passion was when she was younger. She was on a team of sorts. And so she came up with some hats. I don't know, where the hats come from? Did she already have them with her? Did she buy them? Did the Amazon come? Because in a matter of hours, she had all sorts of the hats that they wear for synchronized swimming. Like, where the hats come from? Anyway, so they're all making fun of how Jenna showed them her pubic child. So pretty much how Jenna's hair looks on her head is how her pubic hair looks. So, child. So they all get some weave hair and put it in their bathing suit in their in the vaginal area, in the pubic area, and have it sticking out like the hair on her head. So they're all sitting there waiting for Jenna to come back so they can learn how to do synchronized swimming. And then all of a sudden they start opening up their legs and Jenna's like, oh my God. And she just started laughing her head up. And then she started to adjust people's hair so that it looks just like her. Child, see, there they go. There they go. So then, like I said, Jenna laughs and pretty much is like, ha, 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 ha. Oh, boy. So here we go again. Ubah standing 10 toes down. because what's her name? Raquel and Sai. Was it Raquel? Bryn and what's her name? Erin tries to play a practical joke on Abe. So they're in the group they're in the group with everybody, right? And Bryn and Erin calls Abe, that's Erin's husband, to try and get him to talk sex on the phone, like as if he's with both of them. And then Ubah spoils it and just pretty much is like, no, Abe, we're all listening. They're no, we're all here listening to you. And he's like, ha ha ha. I kind of knew that, ha ha ha. And so Ubah kind of walks off. It's like, I don't like this. Don't be messing with husbands, stuff like that. That's just not cute. I agree with Ubah. I don't get Erin's humor. I really don't. She seems like this little girl who plays around with adult life and she's just very immature and childish, in my opinion. And they're just pretty much condemning Ubah for having standards and not wanting to be involved. Now, again, Ubah spoiled it. She could have just walked away and not being part of it, but she chose to tell him that they were all listening. Now, that part, I probably would have just said, I'm not doing this with y'all, and walk off. I'm not with this, and just walk off. But Ubah chose to tell Abe, and that's fine. With no big deal. But for them to say she doesn't have a sense of humor, and then she sits away, she comes back and sits a little ways on the other side of the chairs, away from everybody, and Bryn starts saying, well, you don't have to sit that far away. And then when you're at the table, you don't have to fall asleep and be on your phone. Pretty much bringing up what happened the other day with Ubah. She wasn't feeling well, so she kind of leaned back in her chair and was on her phone because, again, she wasn't feeling well. She has fibroids, and she's going through. I don't know if she's on her cycle or what, but she just wasn't feeling well. So why is Bryn bringing up what happened already when that was already resolved? It's like she's aggravating Ubah to start stuff. Again, Bryn is trying to make good TV, and she's sacrificing Ubah for good TV, and Ubah's falling for it. If I was Ubah, I would ignore her, but Ubah is sick and tired of ignoring her, and she wants to give Bryn a dose of her own medicine, and that's what Ubah is doing with Bryn and anybody else who wants to jump in. So later on, Ubah's in her room. Raquel and Sai are trying. Well, Raquel is talking to Ubah finally, and she's explaining to her that it was offensive, and Ubah's like, well, I wasn't trying to be offensive. Again, Ubah's not malicious with what she's doing and saying. That's just how she responds in situations. And they have to respect her for being who she is, because she's not malicious with it. I think they misunderstand her, and they're trying to change her to how they are, but she doesn't want to be like them. She is herself. She gets by just fine. She has a successful career, family who loves her, a personal relationship that's thriving. She's on this show. So, I mean, they just have to work with her like she's working with them, because it's a two-way street. She's not pleased with how they act, but she's not calling them out on it the way that they are with her. She's responding. I have yet to see her initiate anything with anybody, but she's always responding. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have yet to see that. So like I said, Raquel is trying to explain to Ubah that she was offended because of what Ubah was saying and how Ubah was acting. And Ubah was like, well, I love Puerto Rico. I've been here many times. I've been here more than you, according to what you say. But the fact is, I wasn't pleased with seeing what I saw. I said what I said. And she said, if I saw that in my home country or anywhere else, I would say the same thing and act the same way. I'm not trying to be mean with it. I don't have a mean spirit about it, but how Raquel took it was how Raquel took it. So Raquel just pretty much said, oh, okay. It just seemed like Raquel was backpedaling, pussy popping. And Sai even said, well, even at the beach, I wanted you to, stop saying that because it was offensive. And it was just a lot. It was too much. So Ubah said, are you both saying this to me because you're both Puerto Rican? And this is your country? Like, what's going on? Because how many times does Ubah have to say she wasn't being, she wasn't trying to be mean. She wasn't being mean about it. She was expressing herself. But they don't see it that way. They just see her as being mean and offensive. Child, when they gonna learn? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't get it. Oh, Lord. Anyway, so a little later on, Ubah, they're in the jacuzzi. Ubah is telling Bryn that she's fake because Bryn is trying to get on her again on how, she was with spoiling the joke and everything. And Ubah was like, oh, and also Ubah mentioned, well, I didn't have to, suck cock to get on the show. If but how she said it, it didn't sound like she said that's what you did. She said, if you did, then, but at the same time, again, it's just weird how Bryn can take offense to that, but she jokes about it. It's like she can say it about herself, but can't nobody else say it about her. And I believe that's why Ubah is saying that, because that's what she does. She's trying to be this sex kitten, hopping on pee, hopping on different kinds of pee, both peas at any given moment, just for the show's sake. I don't know. I don't see it for Bryn. I don't understand her. Well, I do understand her. I just don't see why she keeps doing this. But again, she's just trying to make TV, I guess. And then Bryn insults Ubah, talking about she ain't Naomi Campbell, and then Ubah gets upset and walks off and carrying on. You know how it is, child. Then a little later on, child, the other ladies start arguing because Bryn thanks Erin for, okay, before then, Erin gets up and leaves the conversation because she didn't want to back Bryn up when Bryn was arguing with Ubah. Erin said she didn't want the smoke with Ubah because she didn't feel like dealing with that. Ain't that some shit? But she said that in the confessional. So she went in the house and got dressed and everything and pretty much came back with a little snack. And later, like I said, Bryn thanked Erin for having her back, but didn't like how Erin walked away. She had it back for a minute. So then Erin felt compelled after, that, what's that word? Bryn was being condescending to Erin because she wanted Erin to stay and have her back and double team Ubah. Ain't that some shit? So then Erin felt compelled to go to Ubah's room. Ubah is naked. She's like, get out of my room, I'm naked. Erin wanted to press the point that you shouldn't talk about Bryn that way because she's not a whore. And she didn't do that to get on the show. At the same time, Ubah told her to get out of her room. She's naked. The cameraman was there. She's covering up her tits. She's in her bottom. She's in drawers or whatever she in. And she's like, get out my room. I'm naked. Get out. Hello? But Erin stayed to prove a point. And as she was leaving Ubah's room, she kept she kept arguing with Ubah. Yeah, that's cute. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess she was doing that for Bryn's sake, I guess. Then Erin walked over to Jessel's room and pretty much confronts Sai. No, excuse me. Then Jessel confronts Sai about the comments Sai said about her and Pavi. And then Sai comes back and confronts Erin for not saying the truth about what happened, meaning it wasn't just Sai and Bryn talking about Jessel. It was Sai, Bryn, and you, Erin, talking about Jessel. Then Erin confronts Jessel based off of what Erin, Lord, based off of what Sai said. And then Erin Yeah, so it's like all kind of, and then Raquel was like, I can't. Raquel and Jenna was like, I can't believe this is happening. Raquel and Erin was like, again, we just left the beach. Now everybody's arguing. Child, pretty much that was it, y'all. I guess the most action we've seen in 14 episodes, child, but that was it for New York City Real Housewives. Go ahead, Bravo. Go ahead. Maybe they'll come back with a little more but next episode is the finale, and child, apparently folks crying, and was a little fisticuff? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll catch you next time. All right, bye. All day.